question paper. Created by Couture Foundation. On ICSE's professional program. Group 2 elective paper 7.4. Banking and Insurance Laws and Practice. Lesson 15, Regulatory Framework in Insurance. Banking and Insurance Laws and Practice. Sample question paper, total, 100 marks. Part I, short answer questions, 40 marks. Answer all questions in 2-3 sentences each. 10 times 4 is equal to 40 marks. Q1. Define the term, policyholder, in insurance. Answer. A policyholder is a person or entity who purchases an insurance policy and pays the premium to the insurer. In return, they receive financial protection against specified risks. They are also referred to as the insured. Q2. What is the purpose of regulating the insurance sector? Answer. Regulation ensures protection of policyholders' interests and promotes fair practices in the insurance market. It also maintains financial stability and solvency of insurers. Additionally, it supports orderly growth of the insurance sector. Q3. State any 2 important provisions of the Insurance Act, 1938. Answer. The Act mandates registration of insurance companies before conducting business. It also requires insurers to maintain a solvency margin to ensure their ability to meet claims. Q4. What is the role of IRDAI in the insurance market? Answer. IRDAI regulates, promotes, and ensures orderly growth of the insurance and reinsurance business. It protects policyholders' interests and supervises insurers' operations. It also issues licenses and monitors compliance. Q5. Explain the concept of solvency margin. Answer. Solvency margin refers to the excess of assets over liabilities that an insurer must maintain. It ensures that the insurer can meet its future claim obligations. It is a key indicator of financial health. Q6. What is meant by foreign direct investment, FDI, in insurance? Answer. FDI in insurance refers to investment by foreign entities in Indian insurance companies. The government allows such investment up to a prescribed limit, currently up to 74%. It helps bring capital, technology, and global expertise. Q7. What is advance receipt of premium under the Insurance Act, 1938? Answer. As per Section 64 VB, an insurer cannot assume risk unless the premium is received in advance. This ensures availability of funds to meet claims. It also prevents default by policyholders. Q8. Explain the prohibition of rebates in insurance. Answer. Section 41 of the Act prohibits offering or accepting rebates on premiums or commissions. This prevents unfair competition and underpricing of insurance products. Violations may attract penalties. Q9. What is meant by registration of insurance companies? Answer. Registration is the process by which an insurer obtains a certificate from IRDAI to operate legally. It involves multiple stages including approval and compliance checks. Without registration, no insurance business can be conducted. Q10. State the rural and social obligations of insurers. Answer. Insurers must provide a specified percentage of their business to rural and socially weaker sections. This includes coverage for economically vulnerable groups. These obligations ensure wider reach and inclusiveness of insurance services. Part 2. Essay type questions, 40 marks. Answer any 5 questions in 200-300 words each. 5 times 8 is equal to 40 marks. Q1. Explain the need for regulation of the insurance sector in India. Answer. The insurance sector deals with protection against risks affecting life and property, and involves handling large funds collected from policyholders as premiums. Since insurers are required to settle claims arising from uncertain and sometimes catastrophic events, regulation becomes essential to ensure their financial stability and ability to meet obligations. Without proper regulation, insurers may mismanage funds, leading to insolvency and loss to policyholders. Regulation also protects the interests of policyholders by ensuring fair practices in pricing, claim settlement, and contract terms. It prevents malpractices such as underpricing, delayed claims, and unfair discrimination. Additionally, regulation promotes transparency, accountability, and ethical conduct among insurers and intermediaries. Another key need is to ensure orderly and healthy growth of the insurance market. A well-regulated sector encourages competition while maintaining discipline, leading to innovation and better services. Regulation also ensures that insurers fulfill their social responsibilities, such as providing coverage in rural and economically weaker sections. Further, since insurance contributes to economic development by mobilizing long-term funds for investment, regulation ensures these funds are used prudently. Thus, the regulatory framework balances the interests of policyholders, insurers, and the overall economy. Q2. Discuss the salient features of the Insurance Act, 1938. Answer. The Insurance Act, 1938 is the principal legislation governing insurance business in India. It provides a comprehensive framework for regulation and supervision of insurers. The Act is divided into multiple parts covering various aspects such as registration, accounts, investment, solvency, and management of insurance companies. One of its key features is the requirement of compulsory registration for insurers before commencing business. It also prescribes minimum capital requirements and mandates separation of accounts for different classes of insurance business. The Act lays down provisions for maintenance of proper books of accounts, audit, and submission of financial statements. Another important feature is regulation of investments and restrictions on loans to ensure prudent financial management. The Act also empowers the regulator to investigate insurers, issue directions, and take corrective actions including removal of managerial personnel. The Act includes provisions relating to solvency margin, ensuring that insurers maintain adequate excess of assets over liabilities. It also mandates advance receipt of premium before assuming risk and prohibits offering rebates to maintain discipline in pricing. Additionally, the Act contains provisions for rural and social obligations, reinsurance, and winding up of insurers. Overall, it ensures protection of policyholders and promotes stability and orderly growth of the insurance sector. Q3. Describe the constitution, role, and powers of IRDAI under the IRDAI Act, 1999. Answer. The IRDAI Act, 1999 established the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI, as the regulatory body for the insurance sector. The authority consists of a chairperson, whole-time members, and part-time members appointed by the central government. The Act defines their tenure, qualifications, and functions. The primary role of IRDAI is to regulate, promote, and ensure the orderly growth of the insurance and reinsurance business. It acts as a watchdog to protect policyholders' interests and maintain market discipline. It also facilitates development of the insurance industry. IRDAI has wide-ranging powers under Section 14 of the Act. It can grant, renew, modify, suspend, or cancel registration of insurers. It regulates terms and conditions of insurance products, investment of funds, and maintenance of solvency margins. It also specifies qualifications and codes of conduct for intermediaries and agents. Further, IRDAI has the authority to inspect, investigate, and audit insurers and related entities. It can issue directions, adjudicate disputes, and impose penalties for non-compliance. It also regulates professional organizations connected with insurance business. Additionally, IRDAI has the power to frame regulations and guidelines to implement provisions of the Act. Through these powers, IRDAI ensures transparency, fairness, and stability in the insurance sector while safeguarding policyholders' interests. Q4. Explain the evolution of FDI limits in the Indian insurance sector. Answer. Foreign direct investment, FDI, in the Indian insurance sector has evolved significantly over time. Initially, after the opening of the insurance sector in 1999, foreign investment was allowed up to 26% in Indian insurance companies. This was done to attract foreign capital and expertise while maintaining Indian control. In 2015, through amendments to the Insurance Act, the FDI limit was increased from 26% to 49%. This change aimed to enhance capital inflow, improve technological capabilities, and promote competition in the sector. However, it ensured that ownership and control remained with Indian entities. Further reforms were introduced in 2021, increasing the FDI limit to 74%. This move was intended to strengthen the financial capacity of insurers, encourage more foreign participation, and support expansion of the insurance market. At the same time, safeguards were introduced to ensure Indian management and control, such as requirements for resident Indian directors and key management personnel. The evolution of FDI limits reflects a balance between attracting foreign investment and protecting national interests. It has contributed to growth, innovation, and improved service standards in the insurance sector. Overall, FDI reforms have played a crucial role in the development and modernization of the Indian insurance industry. Q5. Discuss the procedure for registration of insurance companies in India. Answer. The registration of insurance companies in India is governed by the Insurance Act, 1938 and IRDAI regulations. No entity can carry on insurance business without obtaining a certificate of registration from IRDAI. The process involves multiple stages to ensure only financially sound and capable entities enter the market. The first stage involves obtaining a no objection certificate, NOC, from IRDAI for using the word insurance in the company's name. The second stage is submission of Form IRDAI R1, which includes details about promoters, financial strength, business plans, and infrastructure. The authority evaluates the applicant's track record, capital structure, and ability to meet obligations. Upon satisfaction, IRDAI grants R1 approval and issues Form IRDAI R2 for final registration. In the third stage, the applicant submits detailed documents including capital requirements, shareholding pattern, and compliance certificates. The authority thoroughly examines the application. Finally, if all requirements are met, IRDAI grants the certificate of registration, R3. The insurer must commence business within a specified period. The authority ensures that applicants have adequate financial resources, professional expertise, and infrastructure to operate effectively. This structured process ensures transparency, protects policyholders, and promotes a stable insurance market. Q6. Explain the provisions relating to appointment of MD WTD CEO in insurance companies. Answer. The Insurance Act, 1938 provides strict provisions regarding the appointment of managing directors, MD, whole-time directors, WTD, and chief executive officers, CEO, in insurance companies. These provisions ensure proper governance and protect policyholders' interests. As per Section 3(4), any appointment, reappointment, or termination of MD, WTD, or CEO requires prior approval of the regulatory authority. This ensures that only qualified and competent individuals manage insurance companies. The authority also regulates their remuneration and service conditions. Section 3(4)(b) empowers the authority to remove managerial personnel if their actions are detrimental to policyholders' interests or public interest. This ensures accountability and prevents mismanagement. Additionally, Section 3(4)(c) allows the authority to appoint additional directors to improve governance. The Act also imposes restrictions on common directorship to avoid conflict of interest. For example, a managing director cannot simultaneously hold similar positions in competing companies without approval. These provisions strengthen corporate governance, ensure transparency, and maintain confidence in the insurance sector. By controlling key managerial appointments, the regulator ensures efficient management and protection of stakeholders' interests. Q7. Describe the provisions relating to solvency margin and its importance. Answer. Solvency margin is a key regulatory requirement under the Insurance Act, 1938 to ensure financial stability of insurers. It refers to the excess of assets over liabilities that an insurer must maintain at all times. Sections 64(v) and 64 provide the framework for valuation of assets and liabilities and maintenance of solvency margin. The Act requires insurers to maintain a minimum solvency margin as prescribed by regulations. Failure to maintain this margin may lead to regulatory action, including restrictions on business or winding up of the company. Insurers must regularly submit reports to the authority regarding their solvency position. If an insurer falls below the required solvency level, it must submit a financial plan to restore it within a specified period. The authority may also intervene by issuing directions or appointing an administrator. The importance of solvency margin lies in protecting policyholders' interests. It ensures that insurers have sufficient financial resources to meet claims, even in adverse situations such as large-scale disasters. It also enhances confidence in the insurance system. Thus, solvency margin acts as a safeguard for financial soundness and stability of the insurance sector, ensuring long-term sustainability and trust. Part 3, Case Study, 20 marks. Answer all questions. 5 times 2 is equal to 20 marks. Case. An insurance company in India is facing regulatory scrutiny due to low solvency margins, delayed claim settlements, and non-compliance with rural sector obligations. The regulator has initiated an investigation and may impose penalties or corrective measures. Questions. Q1. What is the significance of solvency margin for an insurance company? Answer. Solvency margin ensures that the insurer has sufficient excess of assets over liabilities to meet its claim obligations. It reflects the financial health and stability of the company. Maintaining it is essential to protect policyholders' interests. Q2. What powers does IRDAI have to investigate such companies? Answer. IRDAI has the power to call for information, conduct inspections, audits, and investigations of insurers. It can issue directions and examine records to ensure compliance. It may also take enforcement actions if violations are found. Q3. What actions can be taken if the insurer fails to maintain solvency requirements? Answer. The insurer may be required to submit a financial plan to restore solvency within a specified time. IRDAI can impose restrictions on business operations or appoint an administrator. In extreme cases, the company may be wound up. Q4. Why are rural and social obligations important in insurance regulation? Answer. These obligations ensure that insurance services reach rural areas and economically weaker sections of society. They promote inclusive growth and wider risk coverage. This helps achieve social welfare objectives of the government. Q5. What corrective measures can the insurer take to comply with regulations? Answer. The insurer can improve capital adequacy to restore solvency margins. It should streamline claim settlement processes and enhance compliance with rural obligations. Strengthening internal controls and governance will also help meet regulatory requirements. Trophy Gold Medal Classical Building Woman Student. Test yourself. Q1. What is the role of the state in existence of a healthy, solvent and vibrant insurance market and what is need for regulating it? What are the areas of an insurance sector requiring such regulation? Answer. The state plays a crucial role in ensuring the existence of a healthy, solvent, and vibrant insurance market by creating an appropriate statutory and regulatory framework. Insurance involves protection against uncertain risks and requires insurers to maintain sufficient funds to meet future claims. Since failure of insurers can severely affect policyholders, the state ensures proper checks and balances to safeguard their interests and maintain financial stability. Regulation is necessary to protect policyholders from unfair practices, ensure timely settlement of claims, and maintain transparency in operations. It also ensures that insurers remain solvent and capable of meeting obligations even during catastrophic events. The major areas requiring regulation include registration and licensing of insurers, capital requirements, solvency margins, pricing of products, investment of funds, and claim settlement processes. Regulation also covers conduct of intermediaries, corporate governance, reinsurance arrangements, and foreign investment. Additionally, it ensures compliance with rural and social obligations so that insurance benefits reach all sections of society. Thus, regulation helps balance growth, competition, and protection, ensuring the long-term stability of the insurance sector. Q2. Write a short note on the Constitution of the IRDAI Act, 1999, and list out some of the salient features of the Act. Answer. The IRDAI Act, 1999 provides for the establishment of the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI, as the apex regulatory body for the insurance sector. The authority consists of a chairperson, whole-time members, and part-time members appointed by the central government. The Act is divided into 6 chapters covering establishment, powers, finance, and miscellaneous provisions. One of the key features of the Act is the creation of an independent regulator to oversee the functioning of the insurance market. It defines the duties, powers, and functions of IRDAI, including regulation and promotion of the insurance sector. The Act provides for supervision of insurers, intermediaries, and related entities. It empowers the authority to issue licenses, frame regulations, and ensure compliance with laws. It also provides provisions relating to finance, accounts, and audit of the authority. Another important feature is the power given to the central government to issue directions and supersede the authority in exceptional cases. The Act also establishes mechanisms for transparency and accountability by requiring reports and audits. Overall, the IRDAI Act, 1999 plays a vital role in ensuring orderly growth, protecting policyholders, and strengthening the insurance sector in India. Q3. What is the main duty function of the IRDAI, and what are the powers available to it in discharge of these duties under the Insurance Act, 1938 and the IRDAI Act, 1999? Answer. The main duty of IRDAI is to regulate, promote, and ensure the orderly growth of the insurance and reinsurance business. It acts as a guardian of policyholders' interests and ensures that insurers operate in a fair and transparent manner. IRDAI has extensive powers under the IRDAI Act, 1999 and the Insurance Act, 1938. It can grant, renew, modify, suspend, or cancel registration of insurance companies. It regulates product pricing, investment of funds, and maintenance of solvency margins. The authority has the power to inspect, investigate, and audit insurers and intermediaries. It can call for information, issue directions, and adjudicate disputes. It also regulates qualifications, code of conduct, and training of agents and intermediaries. Additionally, IRDAI supervises professional organizations and ensures compliance with rural and social obligations. It has powers to make regulations and guidelines for effective implementation of the acts. Through these functions and powers, IRDAI ensures financial stability, market discipline, and protection of policyholders, thereby contributing to the development of the insurance sector. Q4. Write a short note on evolution of FDI provisions and norms in the insurance sector in India. Answer. FDI in the Indian insurance sector has evolved gradually. Initially, when the sector was opened in 1999, foreign investment was allowed up to 26%. This limit was increased to 49% in 2015 through amendments to attract more capital and expertise. In 2021, the limit was further increased to 74% with safeguards to ensure Indian ownership and control. The Indian Insurance Companies, Foreign Investment Rules, 2015 were introduced to regulate foreign investment in the sector. These rules define terms such as foreign investor, control, and equity share capital, and provide guidelines for calculating foreign investment. A key feature is that total foreign investment cannot exceed the prescribed limit, and ownership and control must remain with Indian entities. The rules also specify approval routes for FDI and compliance requirements. They include provisions regarding governance, such as requirements for Indian residents in management positions. The rules also apply to intermediaries like brokers and surveyors. Overall, these rules aim to balance the need for foreign capital with the protection of national interests and policyholder security. Q5. Describe the salient features of the Indian Insurance Companies, Foreign Investment Rules, 2015. What are the subjects covered by the FEM, Insurance Regulations, 2015 published by the RBI? Answer. The Foreign Exchange Management, Insurance, Regulations, 2015 govern foreign exchange transactions related to insurance business. These regulations, issued by the RBI, apply to both life and general insurance sectors. In general and health insurance, the regulations cover payment of premium in foreign currency, policies from insurers outside India, and settlement of claims in foreign currency. They also deal with remittances under reinsurance and transactions in Nepal and Bhutan. For life insurance, the regulations cover issuance of policies to non-residents, foreign nationals, and persons of Indian origin. They also address settlement of claims in foreign currency and payment of commission to overseas agents. The regulations further include provisions on foreign currency accounts held abroad, investment of funds by insurers outside India, and utilization of foreign currency funds. Overall, these regulations ensure proper control and monitoring of foreign exchange transactions in insurance, maintaining compliance with FIMA while facilitating international operations. Q6. Describe the process of registration of insurance company in India as per the IRDAI regulations in this regard. What are the factors looked into by the regulator at various stages of this process? Answer. Registration of an insurance company in India is a multi-stage process governed by IRDAI regulations. The first stage involves obtaining a no objection certificate for using the word insurance in the company name. The second stage is submission of Form R1 with details of promoters, financial strength, and business plans. After evaluation, IRDAI grants R1 approval and issues Form R2 for final application. In the third stage, the applicant submits detailed documents, including capital structure, shareholding pattern, and compliance certificates. Upon satisfaction, IRDAI grants the certificate of registration, R3. The regulator considers several factors during this process, including financial strength of promoters, track record, capital adequacy, and business plan. It also examines the applicant's ability to meet rural and social obligations and maintain solvency. Other considerations include management quality, infrastructure, and ability to serve public interest. This rigorous process ensures only competent and financially sound entities enter the insurance sector. Q7. What is the role of the regulator in appointments of MD WTD CEO of an insurance company as per the Insurance Act, 1938? What are the restrictions on the common directorship in an insurer, as per the Act? Answer. The Insurance Act, 1938 gives significant powers to the regulator regarding appointment of key managerial personnel such as MD, WTD, and CEO. As per Section 3(4), any appointment, reappointment, or termination of such officials requires prior approval of the authority. The regulator also has the power to remove managerial personnel if their actions are detrimental to policyholders' interests. It can appoint additional directors to improve governance and ensure proper management. The Act also imposes restrictions on common directorship to prevent conflict of interest. For instance, a managing director cannot hold similar positions in multiple insurance companies without approval. Insurance agents or intermediaries are also restricted from being directors in insurance companies. These provisions ensure transparency, accountability, and effective governance in insurance companies, protecting policyholders' interests. Q8. What are the provisions of the Insurance Act, 1938 in regard to requirement of solvency margin of an insurer? Answer. The Insurance Act, 1938 mandates insurers to maintain a solvency margin, which is the excess of assets over liabilities. Sections 64V and 64 provide the framework for valuation and maintenance of solvency. Insurers must maintain a minimum solvency margin as prescribed by regulations. If they fail to do so, they are considered financially weak and may face regulatory action, including restrictions or winding up. The Act requires insurers to submit regular reports on solvency to the authority. If solvency falls below the required level, the insurer must submit a corrective financial plan. The authority has the power to inspect and verify assets and liabilities to ensure compliance. Solvency margin is crucial for protecting policyholders and ensuring financial stability of insurers. Q9. What are the provisions regarding advance receipt of premium as per the Insurance Act, 1938, and what are the relaxations in this regard as per the Insurance Rules, 1939? Answer. Section 64VB of the Insurance Act, 1938 mandates that no insurer can assume risk unless the premium is received in advance. This ensures availability of funds and prevents defaults by policyholders. Premium must be paid in cash, check, or other prescribed modes before risk coverage begins. If payment is made by post, the risk may commence from the date of posting. The Insurance Rules, 1939 provide certain relaxations, such as allowing bank guarantees or deposits in specific cases. These include policies where premium cannot be determined in advance or long-term policies. This provision ensures financial discipline and protects insurers from undue risk. Q10. Explain the provisions regarding prohibition on rebates in insurance as per the Insurance Act, 1938. Answer. Section 41 of the Insurance Act, 1938 prohibits offering or accepting rebates on premiums or commissions. This means no person can provide discounts as an inducement to purchase insurance. The objective is to prevent unfair competition and maintain proper pricing of insurance products. It ensures that insurers receive adequate premium based on actuarial calculations. Violation of this provision attracts penalties, which may extend to significant monetary fines. This rule promotes transparency and discipline in the insurance market. Q11. Write a short note on the obligations of an insurer in the rural and social sector as per the statute and the regulations in this regard. Answer. The Insurance Act, 1938 mandates insurers to fulfill obligations towards rural and socially weaker sections. Sections 32B and 32C require insurers to provide a certain percentage of business in rural and social sectors. These obligations ensured that insurance benefits reach economically vulnerable groups and unorganized sectors. They include coverage for rural populations and backward classes. The IRDAI has issued regulations specifying targets for insurers based on their years of operation. These targets increase gradually over time. Such provisions promote inclusive growth and ensure that insurance services are not limited to urban areas, contributing to social welfare and economic development. Thanks to learn with us. You can find more study content on our website couture.com.